And the United States sprints into the lead for the first time. The kneading pressure of the trainer's hands stimulates surface circulation of the blood.
In 1950, the great Babe Zaharias won her second U.S. Women's Open. Quarterback Otto Graham led the upstart Cleveland Browns to the NFL title. The Oklahoma Sooners, under head coach Bud Wilkinson, chalked up their second straight undefeated season. And Joe DiMaggio led the New York Yankees to their second straight World Series championship. It was a golden age of sports. That same year, far from the glare of stadium lights and the cheers of the crowd, something else happened that would have a more lasting impact on the world of sports, though nobody knew it at the time. On June 24, 1950, 101 athletic trainers gathered at the Hotel Mulebach in Kansas City, Missouri, to organize the National Athletic Trainers Association. The proclaimed purpose of the new association was to build and strengthen the profession of athletic training through the exchange of ideas, knowledge, and methods.
I can still remember 50 years ago when I went to the first meeting in Kansas City and sat there in the Mulebach Hotel, and how awed I was by being amongst my peers who were also my gods. You know, Frank Medina, Dean Naismith, Eddie Wojcicki. You learn more by buying a six-pack and a bottle of rye or scotch and going up to somebody's hotel room and sitting around, maybe there'd be 6 or 8 trainers, and drinking the six-pack and drinking the bottle of booze and just talking things over. And for the first time, we were able to really communicate with one another. And we didn't always communicate just at the meetings, but in these little hotel room things.
At that first convention, membership dues were set at $2 a year, not nearly enough to ensure the association's survival. The Kramer Chemical Company of Gardner, Kansas, took care of that problem. They underwrote all of the expenses of that first convention and continued to fund the new association through its first 5 years of existence.
But I think one of the things about the Kramers is that they appreciated what the men at the time were doing for athletes. And they were very supportive in sponsoring their meetings and hosting a number of educational events, helping a newsletter be founded, and really, I think, gave the seed money for the founding of the NATA back in 1950.
There's another reason the new organization was able to get off the ground, and it had nothing to do with money. Growth in the early years hinged on one thing: the members' enthusiasm and willingness to volunteer to do the hard work of association building. That same volunteer spirit is alive today.
We all have a sense that it's our responsibility to make the profession better and to help the association. And we do that through volunteerism. And I'm not sure that anything has changed in 50 years with respect to the level of volunteerism. If anything, it's increased.
By September 1951, the NATA had its own publication called The Mentor. Now communication among athletic trainers could continue year-round. By the mid-1950s, the NATA had drafted a code of ethics, established a committee to study athletic injuries, and created a special committee on gaining recognition. The ultimate goal of the committee was to win the recognition of the American Medical Association. That committee was chaired by William Pinckney Newell of Purdue University.
William E. Newell was a very special man, and without his visionary expertise, his wit, his wisdom, his love for the profession, probably none of us would be here today. William E. Newell was really, truly the founding father of the NATA.
Between 1955 and 1968, Pinky Newell led the NATA first as National Secretary and later as Executive Secretary. He helped the association find its identity, its voice, and its vision. Under his guidance, the NATA launched its quarterly journal, became an affiliate member of the NCAA, and later a member of the United States Olympic Committee, developed an early curriculum and degree plan for the study of athletic training, and initiated development of a certification exam. During his tenure as Executive Secretary, membership in the NATA grew from fewer than 500 to over 1,600. Many of the things that Newell worked for laid the groundwork for earning the professional respect that NATA enjoys today. One of Newell's primary goals, gaining the recognition of the American Medical Association, was attained in increments. In 1961, the AMA paid tribute to NATA for conducting the association as an ethical professional unit. Then in 1967, the AMA commended NATA for its efforts to upgrade professional standards.
I think that the seeds of athletic training in the United States were probably planted with formation of a committee by William Pinky Newell back in the early 1950s.
Originally called the Professional Advancement Committee, it was later divided into two committees, the Professional Education Committee and the Certification Committee. Both would serve as important building blocks for an emerging profession.
And in retrospect, what I've always found interesting is that those two areas, certification and education, were chosen by this committee to be the vehicles that could do the most for athletic training to develop the visibility, gain the recognition that they envision.
The Board of Certification got started as an outgrowth of NATA's professional development programs in the 1960s. There was a decision made in the late 60s that there was a need to credential, certify athletic trainers to basically let the world know, consumers know, athletes, that this individual that's providing care to you has met certain educational standards and has been evaluated on how well he or she performs those standards.
Thanks to the hard work of Lindsay McLean, the NATA Board of Certification was voted into existence in 1970. And in July of that year, the very first certification exam was administered in Waco, Texas.
When we started certifying athletic trainers in the early 70s, Lindsay and George Sullivan and myself, a young man by the name of Gib Weaver, who is the superintendent of schools in Greenville, Texas now, were chosen to give the first certification exams. And we gave 4 of them in Waco, Texas. And it was so exciting to be a part of that.
Sayers Bud Miller made education a priority, and high educational standards became an NATA cornerstone. It was the one sure way to earn the widespread respect that the profession deserved.
We wouldn't be as good as we are today without guys like Gary Delforge and Bob Banke, people who've given their lives to making certain that the educational programs are recognized by other healthcare professions, that all of the boards and credentialing agencies that look at professions look at us in a favorable way.
In 1971, Otho Davis of Duke University was appointed executive director, a position he held for 18 years. Davis was a tireless leader who served with 6 presidents and with several boards of directors. His energetic and inspirational management guided NATA through a period of tremendous growth and change. In 1972, the original Title IX Act was passed, opening up greater opportunities for girls and women to participate in sports. It also brought women into the profession of athletic training.
Women serve on every committee now. They hold leadership positions. I serve as president of our foundation. The executive director of the association is a female. So we've made such tremendous progress and have been given the opportunity to contribute so much to a wonderful profession.
Corporate sponsors have played a key role in NATA's growth. Countless benefits have been bestowed by the association's founding sponsors, Johnson & Johnson and Gatorade, by official sponsors Tinactin and Breathe Right, and by official suppliers, Kramer and SportsGuard Laboratories. These primary sponsors and others have elevated the association's profile, provided educational opportunities to members, and helped grow the membership to what it is today.
The mere fact that they are associated with us gives us visibility. It gives us credibility, and it is something that helps our respect in the community and in the healthcare field. And it is through their financial help, but more importantly, their friendship and their guidance, that the NATA has been able to prosper.
In 1989, members realized that the NATA was growing so fast that a professional staff, including a full-time executive director, was needed. And so, under the direction of Executive Director Otho Davis, along with Mark Smaha and the new association leadership, the NATA moved its national office from Greenville, North Carolina, to Dallas, Texas. There, a full professional staff was put in place for the very first time. But even a full-time staff did not diminish the important roles played by committee chairs and volunteers. They are the ones who continue to guide the association into the future. And the spirit of volunteerism will forever be at the heart of NATA. In 1990, when the American Medical Association recognized athletic training as an allied health profession, a goal first set by Pinky Newell in 1955 was finally attained.
In 1990, when the AMA recognized the profession of athletic training, it signaled that the athletic trainer had arrived in the healthcare field.
AMA recognition gave us that identity, was the first step in saying, well, who are you and how do we know who you are? And immediately when you say we're recognized by the American Medical Association, that's the gold standard.
Today, certified athletic trainers are working in just about every conceivable setting in which physically active people need the kind of care that ATCs are specially trained to provide. Not only the traditional settings of high school, college, and university and professional sports, but also in corporate settings, rehabilitation centers, sports medicine clinics. Even ballet companies now count on certified athletic trainers for injury prevention and rehabilitation services.
One of the greatest things that has happened to the NATA is the expansion into multiple settings. It took us out of a stereotyped situation where we only worked with high school, professional, or college athletes. It showed the public, it showed the healthcare industry that we had the talent, the skills, the knowledge to provide our services in these multiple settings. And as a result of that, we have become recognized and respected in the healthcare industry.
Over the years, the NATA has worked hard to elevate the status of the profession and has organized itself to address the profession's most important issues. Through education reform, the NATA has embraced the very highest standards of performance and effectively prepared certified athletic trainers for a wide range of positions outside the traditional workplace. The association's strong advocacy on the issue of third-party reimbursements, public relations, and government affairs have enhanced the professional standing of certified athletic trainers as valued healthcare providers. And the NATA Research and Education Foundation formed in 1991, is helping the association meet the challenges of the 21st century.
The establishment of a foundation says this association and the mission of this foundation will be here now for all of time. We will establish the Certified Athletic Trainer as a scientific entity in the world through research and education.
Since that first meeting of 101 athletic trainers 50 years ago in Kansas City, the NATA has grown to more than 25,000 members nationwide. Although certified athletic trainers now work in many different settings, and the profession has grown and changed over the past half-century, one thing has remained constant: the passion and humanity that all certified athletic trainers bring to their work.
I could say that athletic trainers are caring people, not only for those that they serve, the athletes they serve, but they care a lot about each other.
The association with athletes, with coaches, with people in the medical field has been so tremendous, and I feel so honored to have worked with some of the doctors that I worked with, some of the athletes. It's been a great run.
There's a very unique love and a dedication and a loyalty that an athletic trainer has, not only to his or her profession, but also to the NATA. It is something that is very difficult for an outsider, a non-athletic trainer to understand. To be an athletic trainer, I personally believe is something very special. If you don't have a love and a compassion for people, you're really in the wrong profession.
When you look at old pictures from the 1950s, those people come alive as if you know them. Because although we've changed and although our membership is much more diverse, we hold common ideas, and that is to enhance health care for athletes and for the physically active today.
It's been my experience that when you have alumni weekend at many colleges and universities, the one person, the one constant that the athletes look to, where's the athletic trainer? Where's so-and-so? Because they knew that you were there all the time for them, and you're usually the constant.
I have been very blessed with having a wonderful family, a wonderful job, wonderful people to work with, and our organization, second to none.
The people that impacted my life were those early leaders in our profession, the Pinky Newells, the Bud Millers, the people that were historic to our profession. The thing I saw in their eyes and their vision was a passionate commitment to the profession of athletic training, a desire to make this the best profession possible. Whether it was 50 years ago or 25 years ago or today or tomorrow, that's what I want to leave to the people that I come in contact with. The passion to lead this profession forward.
50 years ago, 101 athletic trainers came together in Kansas City because they shared a dream for their profession. Today, certified athletic trainers everywhere are the embodiment of that dream. We are everything they hoped for and much, much more. Today, we have a responsibility to them and to those who will follow us into this noble profession to pursue our dreams so that 50 years from now, a new generation of certified athletic trainers will look back at our contributions with the same reverence that we look back today.